Jared, you not getting changed?
What? Is that Vivi? Well, that's a lot of oranges.
Early again, mate. Colton is back.
Yeah, mate, cool. I'll give it to you first thing in the morning, yeah?
Yeah, well, where are you?
How much longer?
Where are you off to?
Can you imagine? I forgot my fucking boots on the train.
Hey, you ain't got boots
here! This isn't just football. This is home. This is West Ham, United by more.
In the bag.
I've got nunchucks on, innit?
Come on, Colton.
I've got that walking, bro.
Take 433.
Biggest one we've ever won.
No, you've done it, you've done it.
You two are great. You two are like the strikers. You two are thinking about it.
But no, hey! Guys, I'm here.
Here's show these people what I'm made of. They gotta remember who I am.
Let's do one more.
And then have a little embrace. Yes, Crossy. One off, mate.
Now we see some fire in a big man.
You not getting changed?
So I'm here with Max Kilman today. Little skater boy.
And that's a wrap. Hey, 3, 2, 1, I do that. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap.
There's nothing better than when calculated decisions pay off. It's all about backing yourself. He did.
With only 30 minutes till kickoff.
So did he. Oh. And he definitely did. Always back yourself. Boyle Sports, West Ham United's official principal partner.
Well, good evening everyone and welcome up to Northampton Town at the Sixfield Stadium, and West Ham and their under-21 side face Northampton Town for their fourth pre-season game. Of course, Rangers with 3 unfortunate defeats, and in their way the toughest opposition in terms of what the divisions say and the hierarchy of where Northampton Town sit in the English game. League One side, of course, coached by Kevin Nolan, so some sort of sentiment there heading in to this pre-season fixture. We'll be going through the teams shortly for today's game. Of course, Northampton Town leading the line, Lee Burge, of course in goal, Jack Burrows, Ian Campbell, Jordan Willis, prolific goal scorer last season, Sam Hoskins alongside Cameron McKeon, Elliot List, Harry Spooner, Jordan Fuller, Joe Wormlater, there for them as well. As for your hammers, of course, typically Steve Robson playing with a Mark Robson, playing with a back three. Finley Herrick in goal. Looks to be Ryan Batcham at the right wing back position. Louis Zhao, Michael Forbes, Eridas Columbekis and Emeka Adieli. In midfield, Gabriel Kaliste and Tyrone Akpata with Sean Moore, Dan Rigg and Josh Ajala leading the line. Substitutions for your young irons: Lanre Owosu, Regan Clayton, Rayen Oyabade, Riley Harder, Ezra Mays, Alicia Sawunni, Daniel Cummins, the new boy, looking forward to seeing how he can get on after he signed from Celtic. Of course, he was a free agent, but he said he was wearing sort of copycat of Josh Briggs. So there's Tyrone Akpata. We've having their photos taken with the referee. And of course the mascots, who's excellent, just face painted on the floor, bless him. He's back up. Going to be a trooper. Lions mascot. He knocks off with his head held high. What a moment that is for the youngsters. Both sides ready to go. Of course, West Ham had a bit of a tricky pre-season so far. In all fairness, they've been playing sides, senior sides, above them, of course, in the National League South, specifically Worthing. Of course, Brad Dolligan, a player that played a handful of games after signing from Worthing last season, got his vengeance against West Ham and scored a hat-trick. That's not how that afternoon was meant to go. Just a couple of Saturdays ago, Ebbsfleet, a 2-0 defeat, and then Maidenhead losing 4-2. Goals from Sean Moore and Josh Ajala wasn't enough to try and get back into the game. It will be the home side to kick us off. Of course, West Ham in their new away strip. The white shirt and the grey dark shorts. Louis Zhao meeting the head of this. Of course, it's the first game I'm covering. No Mark Phillips today, which is a shame. Of course, if he is watching, a big shout out to Mark Phillips. Looking forward to being up in the gantry with him at Rush Green when the season starts. And this is the first game I've covered. Of course, I'm Ollie Aldis. Looking forward to this one. After a good season last year, of course, especially for the under-18s when they won the Premier League Cup at the Majeski Stadium in Reading. That certainly was an exceptional evening there in Berkshire. However, for this West Ham under-21 side, a few of which played in that under-18s game, they were unable to beat a Manchester United side that were very well drilled in that second half. And of course, their Premier League 2 playoff hopes came to an end. Batram's on the ball. Of course, he got West Ham's pre-season underway, scoring the first goal against Worthing. It was early on. And West Ham were happy, and then Worthing came out to steal the game away from them, especially in that second half. Just one game so far after this one. Boreham Wood on Friday night. We'll be bringing that live to you on the West Ham YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, do subscribe and like this stream. Who are you most looking forward to seeing this season? Of course, a few under-18s on the bench tonight, or under-18s who are playing last year, will be looking to try and make their mark in this under-21 side, just like players like Preston Fearon and Tyrone Akpata did last season, not to mention Emeka Adieli and Josh Ajala. course, Aradas Golombekis has just come back from time away with the first team as they were in Germany for a week. He's currently got the ball in his right hand, waiting to take this throw. But now Mark Robson has a few more players at his disposal that he didn't have for the first 3 games of pre-season. Michael Forbes just dragged out to a wide position. The tall frame just shielding off the Northampton attacker. Good to see Michael Forbes back, of course, having spent a part of last season on loan at Bristol Rovers. Only made 7 appearances before sustaining a nasty injury that sent him back to West Ham. So he's got a point to prove this season. He looks to launch it down the field. Met by a head of a Northampton defender, but collected up by Tyrone Akpata. And then Rigg, sloppy pass back. It was in between both midfielders that he was trying to aim for. And here comes McGeehan, last season's top goal scorer, the number 8 right now. In a assist position. As he was looking to try and swing it across. But it's straight out for a Northampton throw. Here's Jack Burrows. Jack Baldwin trying to switch it, but Batcham heads it away. Doesn't find a West Ham player as Moore will chase Jordan Thornley, who is, of course, a new signing on that far side, the number 15. Jordan Thornley, 5'11", centre-back, but can play out on the left, which is where he looks to be playing this evening. Of course, they got him on loan from Oxford for the season. He started his career up in Liverpool at Everton. Of course, Finn Herrick had a really good season last year. His distribution at times was absolutely phenomenal. Certainly a big character in the dressing room as well. Having seen Jacob Knightbridge depart, it gave way for Herrick to try and make that under-21 spot his own. I look forward to seeing his development this year as well. As he looks up. Pressure on Herrick from Sam Hoskins. As Tyrese Forner tries to win it back in the middle of the park, but instead it's Tyrone Akpata. This looks promising as Adieli tries to link up with Rigg, but number 4, Dean Campbell, was there before him. Of course, it will be a big test for West Ham going into this game. Having played teams in the National League setup in the National South, now they're coming up against a side not just in League 2 but League 1, who just stayed clear of safety. But this in the meantime is a good opportunity. Unable to find Josh Ajala. Just see the low ball, the idea. Josh Ajala was making a positive run, but it was read well by Jordan Thornley, the 29-year-old. When you've got that level of opposition, those senior players, you just understand the positioning and when to make the run back. You can make it a hard match for this side. But so far, West Ham look to try and be having some joy. Rigg just trying to slide it through, unable to find Ajala again. And the home side will try and come forward and make attack of their own. Of course, Kevin Nolan, West Ham icon, took over as head coach in December last year, whilst the side he inherited were down in 21st in the drop zone. And then he managed to do such a good job. He kept them up, of course, in League 1. After the slight anxieties around the beginning of 2025, they managed to stay up with 2 games to spare. which is testament to the job of the ex-Hammer. And I'm sure everyone at West Ham will be wishing him well in his job going into this season for Northampton. But not this evening. This evening is for West Ham. Is Adieli. Falls back to Jack Baldwin. Of course, earlier, just talking about players who will be trying to make their mark in the under-21s this season. We have said goodbye, it seems like permanently now, to Gideon Kodua. Would like to wish him all the best at his endeavours at Luton. Northampton get the first corner. No, they don't. There's an offside flag down by the near side, which is good for the Hammers. They'll be relieved. A good line there. Michael Forbes and Aridas Golombekis just staying a yard in front of the Northampton attacker. Good reading of the game there. Perhaps he just timed his run a bit too soon, though. Of course, Gideon Kodua joins Luton, having played at Wickham for the last 2 seasons. And of course, a memorable day that Mark Phillips likes to remind us of, and rightly so. He was part of the FA Youth Cup winning side in 2023 and scored West Ham's third. And here come Northampton looking to score a goal of their own. They're unable to, as it goes over all the intended targets and out for another West Ham throw-in. Of course, the last time Northampton hosted the Young Hammers at the Sixfield Stadium was West Ham's first involvement in the EFL Trophy in 2016, where the side were featuring a young Declan Rice, which played out as a 1-1 draw before beating their League One opponents on penalties. So they've had some joy, albeit 9 years ago, with a completely different side. As for Northampton's pre-season, they're still yet to win a game as well. Started off with a game against Millwall, which they lost 3-0. And Norwich, where they lost 3-1. Cambridge United, who got relegated from their division into League 2 last season, they lost that 3-0. And more recently drew to non-league side Brackley Town 0-0. So they'll be looking to try and get some winning momentum before their season starts in just over 2 weeks' time. As for West Ham, the Premier League 2 fixtures should be out shortly in the coming weeks. So you'll get an idea of when we'll be live at Rush Green for all the games at home next season. Of course, their National League Cup opponents have been confirmed as well. Woking, Sutton, Truro and Aldershot join West Ham and other Premier League 2 sides in Brighton, Fulham and Southampton. So they'll be looking to go a step further in the National League Cup that they weren't able to do last year. Of course, the competition was ultimately won by an under-21 side in Leeds United. Thatcham tries to play it forward. The interception from Campbell sees it go out for another West Ham throw. Rigg trying to make an option in the inside, more central. As Golombekis leathers his foot through that. Perhaps just trying to get it clear, but also show to his side to try and get further up the pitch. But Northampton keeping West Ham deep in their own half right now. Ajala just tries to have a little sniff around. Instead, Northampton will go direct, but Herrick will calmly collect. They're happy to take their time though, West Ham. There's nothing really to shout about in the opening 12 and a half minutes here at the Sixfield Stadium. Didn't look like the strongest of balls, it wasn't in fact, really. It managed to find its player, but instead Ajala tries to switch it. And he finds one of the advertisement boards, which is just sloppy. Of course, Herrick did well enough to pull off the pass, but it wasn't the most glamorous, it has to be said. And then with Ajala just having to pick it up as the ball sort of awkwardly fell around his feet. Trying to switch it over towards that far side, but just over-hitting it and giving away possession. See Caliste just looking at the ball, waiting for it to come down, but Forbes had his proactive approach there and launched his head at it. Player brought down, number 9. Well, the number 7 in fact, Sam Hoskins. Louis Zhao, the player to have been the culprit. Referee perhaps took a second or two to make his mind up there. But Northampton have a chance to swing in another ball. Of course, the last time they tried to play it from this position, it went straight over, albeit an open play, but the first set piece will fall to them. And the number 4, Dean Campbell, eyes this one up. He's got Jack Burrows just down there on the right of your screen, the number 2. A fair amount of room. Adieli close to him, and it's a one-man wall of Dan Rigg. But it enters the box and goes straight into the gloves of Herrick. Commanding keeping. For a brief moment you felt it could have tested the back line as it managed to get in behind, but perhaps just too much onto it, which allowed Herrick to collect it calmly. More of a commanding pass out from Herrick this time. Here's Golombekis, who's playing wide so far in this back 3. See Forbes playing down the middle, and both Louis Zhao and Golombekis really trying to provide the width, with Adieli and Battram just in front of them. Adieli sprinting to get that ball. You just saw that change of pace as he knew he had an opportunity, and he's going to try and set one up now. A dangerous looking ball, but straight into the head of the Northampton defender, and that's lovely footwork there from Hoskins as he's brought down a second time. And once again, I believe the culprit was Louis Zhao, so he'll have to watch himself. But briefly here, you could see Adieli going up against Baldwin, just trying to clip it, as Moore was making the run in the middle. Free kick. It'll be Lee Burge, the goalkeeper, to take it. Given the fact that there's no players around him, I think you know where this one's going. Finds a player, and Forbes has to improvise there. Herrick with no nonsense goalkeeping. I've just seen the ball go from end to end in a matter of 5 or 10 seconds. 2 real hoofs, or long passes from the goalkeepers. Final touches off Battram. The referee just seems to be having some words with Akpata and Michael Forbes. Mainly to do with Forbes, I believe. There's Baldwin. Bounces up into Gollum Beckett's head and goes out for another throw. This time Jordan Thornley will be the one to take again. Here's Jordan Willis, another centre half. Number 6 for Southampton. For Northampton. Neither side really being able to gain much passing momentum. I suppose the best passing move we've seen with West Ham, albeit it was only a couple, was when Adieli was bombing down that left-hand side just minutes ago. But since then, it feels like both sides are being quite sloppy with their passing. Seeing it go out for a throw a lot of times, which is just stagnating any sort of chance for either side to play with it and play with some momentum. Forbes so far with commanding defending, been one of the brighter sparks on the pitch so far. That's well collected by Luizao. And then, don't know what he was thinking of then, gifting the ball away, perhaps frustrated at that pass, and then just trying to slide in. It would have been an incredibly late challenge on Tyrese Forner, the number 14 who's on the ball now. Tyrese Forner, the player just passing it out to this right-hand side, joined in June, so he's one of the new recruits for Northampton. And then Burrows sticking his body about, fouling one of the West Ham players. And West Ham finally get a free kick of their own. Adieli with a clever nick away. And then it's that right leg that just stepped out to trip up Luizao. That won them the free kick. Calls for a foul from Northampton, but Adieli will collect it. Has to be careful though as he passes it straight into the direction of Burrows. Fortunately, has the anticipation to win it back smoothly. Colin Beckett's pass straight to Thornley. Here's the new signing, Tyrese Forner, just 25 years of age. Was left without a club at the end of the summer. Of course, Derby County, his parent club, didn't renew his contract, so he was at Salford last season on loan. In the meantime, Sam Hoskins looks to have been brought down, but you can tell by the players' reactions for West Ham that they're just eager to carry on. So the referee doesn't see that as a foul one bit. Now Campbell. Forner. He's a big physical player, just the way he drives with the ball as it's put into a really promising area. Fortunately for West Ham, no player in Burgundy to attack it. Ajala. See Rigg trying to make the run down the left, but Akpata perhaps just held on the ball for a little too long there. Here is Rigg. Kaliste out towards Battram. He's out, caught under pressure here. And this could be a good opportunity for McGeehan. As Northampton looks to try and get bodies into the box. Fauna's on the ball. Now McGeehan making a run into the box, but he just pings it straight into Forbes, which rebounds off another West Ham player. Now Rigg will try and pick it up and run forward. Smart work from Rigg there, just holding the ball up. Knew there wasn't an opportunity in front of him. Herrick's fancied those low passes so far. Often you feel like it could fall into the possession of the other side, but you've got to trust the goalkeeper there. And Adieli keeping it on. He stays around him, but Adieli sort of isolated really. I think he was aiming to try and feed it into the box and didn't fancy passing it too far back to his number 4. Now Kaliste. Well, of course, if you haven't already, do like and subscribe to this West Ham YouTube channel, bringing you lots of live content with the upcoming season just over a month away. Of course, this West Ham side will be hungry to see what is to come. They've often been so strong in the Premier League too, finishing in really high up positions, but just haven't managed to get it across the line in the playoffs so far. So they'll be eyeing that one up, as well as the Premier League Cup as well. After their under-18s got a taste for that glory, they'll be wanting it again. Here's Adieli. This is promising, tries to pull it back. First corner for West Ham after the block from Burrows goes out. Lovely ball from Michael Forbes. Certainly someone who's shining today, I'm sure you'll agree, West Ham fans. Not only has he been incredibly solid and robust defensively, meeting every header or every ball that's been thrown his way, also with a fine pass like that, makes him look like a very complete centre half. A high ball towards that back post and goes well over all of the intended targets, and that'll be disappointing. Can do better from there, just gifting away a potential chance to make something count. Once again, Michael Forbes heading it away, unable to find a West Ham player, and instead Sam Hoskins will make a run down the right, but in an offside position. There's Kevin Lowland just down there on the right of our screens. He's giving Louise a pat on the back. Nice token of support. Herrick just coming off his line outside of his box, having to leather that one away. So just before the half-hour mark, and Golombek is just having to do some defending as it looked to open up just in behind him, but it didn't matter as his tall frame and his pace was enough to get there before the oncoming Northampton player. A switch from Willis. Looking for Burrows, and he finds him. First touchdown taken nicely. McGeehan, now Tyrese Forner. Northampton just trying to play with a bit of zip to try and catch West Ham off guard, but West Ham's organisational structure has meant Northampton are just having to force to play it back. Spoke too soon as they just tried to swing it in behind over towards Sam Hoskins, but once again, very good defending from West Ham to just keep out the Northampton pressure, not really allow anything clear-cut to open up. Forner covering a lot of ground so far. Play central midfield or holding midfield. And footwork as well from the 25-year-old, just beating away Josh Ajala. Here's Elliot List, who hasn't really got on the ball much so far in this first 30 minutes here at the Six Fields. Northampton looks to try and make something happen down the left. This time they do with a first-time ball in. Herrick once again. Not the calmest of collections, but he collected it, so it doesn't matter. And in the process, knocked the side of his head. Of course, Lanre Awesu on the bench, someone that will be looking forward to this season as well, after having a really strong season for the under-18s last year. Willis. Ajala just nudging Rigg to press down the left. The flicked header just finding its way back to Baldwin. Louis Au meeting that long ball played from Lee Burge. Ajala, good pressure there on Dean Campbell. You can see the energy that he possesses. He just runs it forward, creating an opportunity for West Ham to just gain yards on Northampton, as the ball's mainly been in the West Ham half so far. As you'd expect when you come up against a well-drilled senior side in League One. So far they're putting in a positive shift, especially the defenders. Louis Au's been impressive, as has Michael Forbes and Golombekis. All three of them have had to do work when Northampton have got forward, and they've succeeded in it so far. As time will tell as the game goes on, but Batron just sustained a little knock there. I think it was Sean Moore even. In fact, he was playing down the right. Batron with a flick up towards Moore. Able to keep it under his spell. Herrick. Rigg popping up in a left centre half position. He's been caught out. And Burrows has a chance to send one in. Adieli with the header away, but it still stays deep inside this West Ham half. Through Burrows, he's got Forner around him, but that's good defending from Adieli, and Dan Rigg will be pleased. Not with that pass though. More a sense of relief, but he's just having to stick back with his side here and just see out this Northampton pressure. Burrows with the delivery. Forbes with the clearance. And Majala will chase. See Batram sprinting to the ball. Although he didn't get it, he needed to do it to ensure he was at least going to have a chance at beating his opponent. See the difference of the goal kicks so far. Northampton happy to just send it straight forward. West Ham happy to use a centre half to take it and play it out from the back, but that's a lovely pass from Herrick. Kaliste. Forbes looking to try and get one in towards Adieli. That's a magnificent ball. The flag stays down. Adieli! Point blank save from the goalkeeper, but what a goal that would have been. All coming from the ball from Michael Forbes. Adieli kicking the advertisement board in frustration. But look at that for a pass. Adieli with the curved run around Burrows. The goalkeeper made himself big and did a great job to deny West Ham's number 11. So Dan Rigg now with the second corner for West Ham. Will want to make it more successful than the first. Perhaps a short corner's on offer, not anymore. Akpata doesn't find a West Ham shirt. Here's Louis out. I was going to say, how will his cross be? But instead he tries the back heel, which he's unable to pull off. With just under 9.5 minutes left to go now of this first half. And it's fair to say, Michael Forbes has been a standout, if not the standout for West Ham. And if Adieli was to find the back of the net with that strike, walking off with an assist would certainly be pleasing for Mark Robson. And of course Graham Potter. He said about how the academy he wants to use. We saw that in pre-season against Grasshoppers on the weekend. Of course West Ham's first team travel over to the US now with Freddie Potts, Lewis Orford and Ollie Scarles are part of that. Not to forget Callum Marshall. Of course, anyone who was to impress in these games would certainly put a question mark in Graham Potter's head and at least put them into consideration for a potential appearance in the domestic campaign. Which is what can make these under-21 sides so great, when they know that there's a clear pathway to the first team. It's only going to increase motivation at this level, which is why you likely see West Ham do so well in the Premier League too, and finish so high against other well-established football clubs like Liverpool and Arsenal. Broughton swinging it in. With the low cross that Hoskins met. And Eric had to be stretched to just collect that. Urge with a fake pass to then send it long towards this right hand side towards Burrows. Really onto him. Akpata. 3 Northampton shirts around him. He was under some pressure, but they've managed to gift it away, and Northampton unable to make the most of that opportunity with the diagonal pass. Trying to just slide it in towards Sam Hoskins. Just a yard away. It remains 0-0. Eric finding a lovely ball out towards Ryan Battram. Northampton pushing West Ham back. Eric with another chance to showcase his distribution. That time was unfortunate. And they tried to carry on. I think they may have thought that the ball had entered or exited play further up the field from a Northampton perspective, but the referee's pulling it back. Here's Baldwin. Sends a long one forward. Louise's header sees it go out for another Northampton throw. I'd say Louise Owl's header there. Just over 4 minutes of the first half. I'm sure we'll get any stoppage time. I'd be surprised if so. So there hasn't really been much to shout about. Ajala's looked lively when he has got on the ball on a couple of occasions in this first half. Here's Kaliste. Patter. Ryan Battram trying to show he's in some room on that far side. Brilliant close control from Ajala. Battram trying to take it on the inside. Sloppy pass from Akpata, just giving it straight back to Northampton through McGeehan. He has the footwork to beat his man again. As Joe Wormleighton sprints down the line to try and fetch that ball. Of course, number 16 currently carrying the ball, Joe Wormleighton, who's just put it back to West Ham. He was at Leicester for the last, well, for his career, even for his academy career. Someone that's only just signed from Leicester City on a 2-year deal. He's got more than 60 Premier League 2 appearances for the Foxes. Of course, he actually played at Rush Green back in March when his side won 3-2 against West Ham. That was the famous night where, well, I say famous, but the memorable night where an absolute showman of Jeremy Monga came on for Leicester and turned matters around at just 15 years of age. I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised if you still remember that name, given the fact that he's got some coverage now in the Premier League, but also I think Mark and I didn't stop going on about him for games after when we saw him give West Ham troubles in that night in March. Well, just over 90 seconds to go. You'd think this probably will be the last chance of the first half. I think West Ham will be happy to just see it end goalless now. It's been a valiant first half effort from West Ham. Haven't been the best in midfield, but certainly have been strong at their defending. Josh Ajala just needs to be played in a bit more, but when you are playing such a structured League One side filled with plenty of experience, it's always going to be a challenge. And so far West Ham are doing themselves proud regardless of the goalless scoreline. And Forbes will be just gaining confidence minute by minute, as long as he's doing his job well. And so far he hasn't really put a foot wrong. There's Ajala. Slid in from the opposition, but they're going to play advantage, and you could see the idea from Moore as he just tried to slide it through. Poor challenge on Ajala. He was brought down by the number 16, Joe Wormleighton, who of course would have played against him for Leicester last season, so knows plenty about him, which is perhaps why he knew that the only way to beat him was to foul him. That's the end of the first half action. 0-0 going into the break, but a very good performance and effort from West Ham, especially in that defence. We'll be back just after the break. It ends here at the Sixfield Stadium after the first half. 0-0.
What? Is that 50? Well, that's a lot of oranges.
Early again, mate. Colton is back.
Yeah, mate, cool. I'll give it to you first thing in the morning, yeah?
Yeah, well, where are you?
How much longer?
Where are you off to?
Can you imagine? I forgot my football boots on the train.
Hey, you ain't got boots
here! This isn't just football. This is home. This is West Ham, united by more.
I've got nunchucks on, innit?
Come on, Colton.
I've got that walking, bruv.
Take 433.
Biggest one we've ever won.
No, you've done it, you've done it. That's fair. Right. You two
two are great. You two are like the strikers. You two are thinking about
But no, guys, I'm here.
Here's show these people what I'm made of. They gotta remember who I am.
Let's do one more.
And then have a little embrace. Yes, Prowse. Well done, mate.
Now we see some fire in a big man.
So I'm here with Max Kilman today.
Little skater boy.
And that's a wrap. Hey, 3, 2, 1, I do that one.
Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap.
There's nothing better than when calculated decisions pay off. It's all about backing yourself. He did.
With only 30 minutes till kickoff.
So did he. Oh. And he definitely did. Always back yourself. Boyle Sports, West Ham United's official principal partner.
Welcome back, everyone. Here at the Sixfield Stadium, looking forward to this second half of the game. Of course, Northampton and West Ham battling out in a goalless draw. No real clear-cut chances. No goalkeepers having to make a save. Apart from that point-blank save that Lee Burge was required to make following Adiele's strike from the left side of the penalty area, there hasn't really been that much to chat about, to talk about, really. Of course, when it comes to chances, Northampton haven't made anything of their own. Finn Herrick's had a pretty safe game so far. Had to collect some crosses and weak efforts, but so far he's done the job. It doesn't look like there's been any substitutions. Of course, West Ham on the bench do have Regan Clayton, Rayan Oyabade, Wiley Hargan, Ezra Mayers, Daniel Cummings, Josh Briggs and Alicia Sawunmi. So there is plenty of talent to come on if needs be. As well as Lanre Awesu. It looks like he'll be sitting on the bench for the rest of the game. Of course, Mark Robson looking to try and really stamp down on what can be his best team going into the Premier League 2. This is a good opportunity for Northampton Town. What a time to score, and a point-blank save from Herrick right at his near post. Michael Jacobs, who's just come on, creating an opportunity for Forster to bring it back. And for List to fire it straight at Herrick. So, point-blank save made from both goalkeepers now. Does then signal that there has been a substitution, not for West Ham, but for Northampton Town. Michael Jacobs, who has come on, the 33-year-old left winger, but also an attacking midfielder, started his career at Northampton, also born in Northamptonshire. Of course, his longest career spell was at Wigan between 2015 and 2020. Here he is again, scored 33 goals in 176 games, and he signed a 1-year deal in June to go back to his home club. And so far, he's looked fairly promising, involved in the winning of the corner. So an early opportunity to try and break the deadlock. It's a good corner. And able to be steered goalwards, and Battram will pick it up. Of course, Northampton going into this game, we did mention earlier, they're still yet to win a game in pre-season, but this is their first game back in the UK following a long pre-season training camp in Spain. And so far, they're being kept quiet by this young West Ham side. I suppose as well, I was on commentary with Matt Jarvis on Saturday, who was saying how important it is for pre-season, for getting a winning momentum before the season starts, especially in a competitive league like League One. You want to feel like you're going into it with some winning momentum, but if you're being held in most games and losing by 2 or more goals like they have done, the nerves may start to kick in and you may start to be going into the League One season with your heads down. But in the meantime, it's flicked towards the goal by Elliot List. No trouble imposed on that back line. You can also see there has actually been some substitutions for West Ham. Ezra Mayers is on. So number 16, Ezra Mayers, just slotting to the left of Michael Forbes. So it looks like it's been a straight swap for Golan Bekis. Louise Howe has now shifted from the left side of the back three to the right, allowing, of course, Ezra Mayers to be in his typical left centre-half position. Here he is now. looking to try and make an impact as he makes a run down the left. At least Akpata staying fairly tight at times when you may want Akpata to actually just stretch out a bit to provide more of an option. They try to feed a ball in behind from a deep position. Well, that's easily dealt with by Leo Burge. Straight back in Northampton possession. Batron trying to use his body to put off his opponent. Jacobs and towards Campbell. It's a nice switch out towards the number 20, Jack Perkins, who's come on after the break as well. Number 20 there, just trying to make a little diverting run down that left channel, but in the meantime Jacobs swings one in. It's a dangerous ball. The player goes down right inside the area. Adieli just wants to drive forward and try and make something happen for West Ham. Now Luizao finding more. Hasn't really had much of an impact on the game so far, but he's got a chance to switch it, which he does. But it's cut out, and you can just see his frustration shown towards that far side. Lifting up both arms in frustration. He's our judge to have just cleared the ball after it went out. There's Jack Perkins. 21-year-old midfielder, signed from Nottingham Forest this summer, and he's been there at Nottingham since he was an under-8. He was a regular in their Premier League 2 side. In June, the youngster fancied making a move to professional football and signed a 2-year contract at Sixfields after playing 56 games in the Premier League 2 for Forest over the last 3 seasons. Another player that's seen a lot of Premier League 2 football that's ended up moving is, of course, Kamari Swire. He signed a 2-year deal with Northampton in May, so we want to wish him all the best here at West Ham on his future endeavours. Of course, his contract was up at the end of the season, and Northampton made no time to sign him up after the season finished in May. Of course, Kamari Swire has worked under Kevin Nolan before when he was in and around the first team. Of course, Swire even made his West Ham senior debut in the Europa Conference League. And we all know how that ended that season in 2022-23. This looks positive. Zajala tries to just make a move around the box. Here's Moore. Just dies down on the right hand side, but West Ham are able to try and make something happen on this left. Here's Adieli, who's been a bright attacking spark in this game tonight. Look at Mayers making that driving run forward. You can perhaps see why Mark Robson brought him on for this second half. Perhaps he just wanted a bit more urgency for West Ham, or from West Ham, going into this second half, and Mayers so far is showing that as it's a promising ball. Moore wraps his foot around it. Ryan Batchram to try and strike it low, which he does, but the Northampton defender was there to block it. Best spell of the game so far for West Ham United. More kindly to Batchram, but he was probably just dragging it wide. There's Jordan Thornley. Another player who's come on. You're starting to see them as the game or the second half unfolds. Number 5, Max Dyche, down this left-hand side for Northampton. Jordan Thornley, who was playing as a left-back, looks to now be playing more as a centre-half, which he can play. Of course, Max Dyche is now the one that occupies that position. 22-year-old who started his career at Northampton as well. Signed a 2-year contract in June as well, after having 4 loan spells over the last 5 years. And he looks to try and make a regular name for himself amongst the Northampton fans in the first team. Here's Campbell. He'll just clip it over. West Ham deal with it well. Nice pass from Regan towards Adieli. They're quick here, just like Adieli and Ajala, as he switches it out to Batram. Gets shoved off the ball just after it left his foot. The pass just a yard behind Moore, as you can see him stretch out his right leg to retrieve it. Here's Fauna. Back to Dyche. This is a promising run now from Elliot List. Looks to try and cut it round. Save from Herrick. But you can tell the flag is up. The West Ham defence didn't look too fussed. And there's going to be some more substitutions, this time for the Hammers. And on comes Rayan Oyabade. And of course, the new signing, Daniel Cummings. Of course, the new signing, highly rated Scottish forward, signing for the Hammers after his contract expired at Celtic. It looks like Oyabade is replacing Michael Forbes, who has not put a foot wrong. As for Adieli, he is being replaced by the new boy. Mentioned earlier about Gideon Kodua winning the FA Youth Cup. Of course, most of the side, well, half of this side, now a lot of them have gone on to play senior football. Won the FA Youth Cup back in 2023. But Daniel Cummings was another player that won a domestic trophy at that level in his country, winning the Scottish Youth Cup final and scoring late on in a thrilling win against Rangers at Hampton Park. As Daniel Cummings said when he came to West Ham, it was too good to say no. And he described himself as an all-rounded striker who likes to run in behind and hold up the ball. And of course, his aim is to be a first-team player for West Ham. Of course, one of the West Ham icons in Mark Noble was saying about how if you come and apply yourself right and do the things properly, with the first team being so close to the under-21s, anything can happen. And that's something Daniel Cummings is certainly aware of and certainly excited about. Fauna switched over towards Neo Dobson. He doesn't look to be wearing a shirt number right now, but I assume it's the number 9 who's come on. Now Moore. So let's try and turn defence into attack. He wants to get it on his left. Doesn't really get given the time. He did have the time originally, but perhaps he just held on to it for a bit too long. Rigg with the slick pass. You could see the idea. Sliding it in towards Cummings, who's playing out on that left-hand side right now, which is interesting. Of course, he's still got Ajala on the pitch, with Cummings saying how he's a striker, but he's been playing out on the left so far. You'd wonder if Robson would want to maybe shift the formation around, but perhaps he's happy to stick to his front three and have Cummings just coming in off the left. Now this is nice. Cummings, the striker, trying to assist Josh Ajala. He's judged to have brought someone down. He miskicks it anyway, and it's a goal kick. Or a free kick even. Nice idea though. Look at that pass from Caliste. Slick passing, Rig, Caliste, and Cummings. Pulling it just behind Ajala. Here's Dyche. Both sides feel it should have gone their way, but it does go West Ham's. Well, West Ham in the opening 15 minutes have certainly been the more dominant. Had more of the ball in the opponent's half, but can Northampton suddenly just put them to bed now? Forner from distance. There was some power behind that. It was just swerving away from Herrick's goal. But apart from that really early opportunity in the second half, which was struck straight at Herrick by Michael Jacobs, West Ham have enjoyed more of the ball. It's a goal kick. And so far Robson will be happy with how his side has been in this second half. No signs of fatigue so far, but that ball wasn't the most quality filled. Trying to, I think, play it to one of the two attackers. You had two players in Northampton colours just around the outside of the penalty area, but the pass from the defender just goes straight in the middle between them both. Here's Forner. Doesn't come to anything. Herrick happy to just have the ball at his feet. Mayers out here on that left side. Looking for options. Caliste is one of them. He's got Cummings just to his left, but Cummings has got a player occupying him pretty closely as well. That Patter's gone down awkwardly, holding his back. And there'll just be a stoppage to assess Tyrone Akpata here. Can see the opponent just ran in through Akpata's left leg as it was stretched out. It was stretched out wide, and then the number 10 Elliot List, who just ran straight through him. Saw Akpata fall awkwardly, but he's back up on his feet and all good to carry on for potentially another 26 minutes. Now Luizao. Luizao again, but falling back to Dyche. Of course, Luizao last year went to go seek some first team minutes. He is the oldest player in the under-21 setup, almost turning 23 soon. He was at Pogoń Szczecin last year, where he made 4 appearances in the league. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him this season. Of course, whether he'd like to stay at West Ham or seek some first team minutes again. Here's Forner. He's just popped up everywhere. Through towards Jacobs. Ball just outside before he's able to get something onto it. In fact, Louis Zhao is 23 already. He has his 24th birthday next March, so certainly someone that may want to kick on with playing first team minutes at some point. Here is Josh Briggs ready to enter the action. He's taken on for Dan Rigg. He perhaps hasn't made an impact on this game that he would have liked. The set pieces he's had to deliver. So Briggs, of course, last season started out as a centre half but started playing as a right wing back and looked pretty good there as well. And he's gone straight over to that right hand side too, which may see Ryan Battram go further up the field, but in the meantime it's a good opportunity for Michael Jacobs as he cuts it in on his right. But West Ham do and see enough to see him denied. Brilliant defending there from Louis Zhao. Standing tall, not forced to go to ground, and with ease just dispossesses Michael Jacobs. Straight towards Perkins. His first time pass goes towards Louis Zhao. Briggs trying to get in on the action just moments after being substituted on, and it'll be another goal kick for Herrick. Of course, Northampton close to finishing their pre-season. They've got another game, this time against Birmingham at home on the 26th this Saturday, and then the weekend after that the start of League One and League Two on the 2nd of August. Northampton travel to Wigan, and the weekend after that they host their first game of the league at the Six Fields against Bradford City. So of course, many of you tuned in to show your commitment and to watch the West Ham under-21s. Thank you very much for joining me. And of course, I'm Ollie Ordis, not joined unfortunately, but joined by yourselves. No Mark Phillips today, but do, of course, subscribe to the West Ham YouTube channel. Give this live stream a thumbs up, as we'll be showing all home West Ham United games this season. Ross Fitzsimmons, though, coming on for Lee Burge for the final 20 minutes. Of course, Lee Burge, the goalkeeper, who's just come off, hasn't actually had to make a save, really. The only time he was required was against Amika Adieli back in the first half. Adieli's firm strike straight at the outstretched goalkeeper. He did well enough to see that go out for a corner. And Northampton have just started to wake up. You see their attacking left winger, Michael Jacobs, more involved in the action, just creating more problems for West Ham than we probably saw in the first half. That's swung in by Jack Perkins and then seen out for another Northampton corner kick as we enter the final 20 minutes here. Sent in, near post. Headed away firmly by Louis Zhao, but straight back out to this left-hand side, and that's a really good opportunity. Close for Northampton, but thankfully Finn Herrick was there once again. Another key performer in tonight's display. That ball was teasing West Ham, low down and awkward to deal with. But Herrick was there to just deny Elliot List of an opener. Now Akpata. Of course, with Northampton, they just have that joy at seeming to unlock West Ham just a bit more than the other way round. An experience certainly showing. Jacobs swinging one in towards the left side of the penalty area, but another goal kick is the outcome. So, of course, joining us tonight, away to Northampton, and West Ham's next pre-season game for the under-21s will be against Boreham Wood, with a kick-off time at 7:30 in the evening this upcoming Friday. That will be live on the West Ham YouTube channel, as they're still in search for their first win of pre-season, and this would be a brilliant opposition to get it against. Of course, the highest level opposition they've played so far, and it's a very modest scoreline. That was smart. At the final ball. Had the idea, but not the execution. Fauna sent forward, but more of a hoof than a pass. Another throw in for the home side. Of course, at this current moment of time, Graham Potter's first team will be heading all the way across the pond to America, with their first game to be played in New Jersey. That will be at midnight on Sunday morning. And that'll be the end of the action for Finn Herrick, coming off with a grin on his face, replaced by Lanray away suit. Good performance from Herrick, smart distribution at times, albeit may not have looked totally convincing. He still pulled it off, but more importantly, he's pulled off 2 point-blank saves with his courageous goalkeeping, which is becoming, or probably has been for years now, a really, really significant trait of his. But he's replaced now by the athletic Lanray away suit. Energy shown from Kaliste as he busts a gut to get there. They're just sloppy there. Oyabade gifting it away. Perkins. See Batram now playing on that left-hand side. Well, that's the end of the action for Josh Ajala. He's replaced by the number 12. And the number 12 on the team sheet was Regan Clayton. So he's coming on now. I think actually looking at it, of course, the team sheets today had Regan Clayton as the number 12 and Daniel Cummings as the number 18. But since, who I thought Daniel Cummings when he was coming on, when he was wearing the number 18 shirt, perhaps there's just been a bit of a switch around and that was Regan Clayton or Riley Hargan. It would make more sense perhaps for Regan Clayton to be playing in that left wing or left wing back position as opposed to the striker. And Daniel Cummings, of course, the tall man there, wearing the number 12. I don't think it makes sense for Regan Clayton to be playing in that striker position. But in the meantime, Northampton have an opportunity and a slide challenge going in from the West Ham player to deny them. So yes, there was a little switch of the shirts. Regan Clayton, of course, coming on earlier on. Daniel Cummings just coming on now. Of course, if you're just joining us, a player signed from Celtic after his contract expired, raring to go and excited to start his career at West Ham. Mark Noble had said that they've been keeping tabs on him for just over a year now and are delighted to get his signing over the line. It's 13.5 minutes to go, still 0-0. Daniel Cummings get his West Ham career underway with a late goal here at the Sixfields Stadium. Time will tell. Northampton have just started to grow into this second half. Fauna. Now Akpata. Picked up by Cummings. And he's fouled and he wins a free kick. Taken quickly. Moore on the inside, trying to switch it over towards Clayton on that far side. Where Bade sticking in a leg, Akpata sticking in a foot and coming away with it nicely. Tenacious from Tyrone Akpata. Footwork nicely done from Oyabade. West Ham just showing their technical ability here. Winning the fouls with the quick feet against the League One outfit. Here's Clayton. Now Akpata. Awesu just warming up with his feet now since coming on. Sure he would have been doing some stretches up and down the side of the pitch. But really starting to get a feel for the game now, as this is a good run forward from Kaliste, but he's just pushed off balance, driving with the ball for about 20 yards, promising for a second there. And here comes Fauna, just hasn't stopped running. Feels like he's had at least some sort of ball control every couple of minutes in the game so far. Two more substitutions, Riley Hargan and Alicia Sawunmi to come on. Two big players in last season's under-18s, especially Alicia Sawunmi. With the goals and assists he tallied up last season, he'll be someone I'm sure Mark Robson will have his eyes on to select for the under-21s. Louisau trying to play it down the right channel. The referee not wanting Briggs to take it where he originally wanted to. Patron. Briggs unable to find Sawunmi. And instead, Owesu will have to sprint towards the ball as he gets it before the run of Neo Dobson. Now Mayers. Hagen. 1-2 between him and the other substitute Sawunmi, but Northampton get it back in a promising position as they're sprinting forward. Oyabade just seeing that go out of play for another Lanre Owesu goal kick. Owesu all the way over towards that left-hand side, but no West Ham player was there to try and receive it. It was just ball watching, really. And they've put in a good shift, West Ham, to keep it goalless up until now. Corner once again on the ball. Jacobs. They're finding Perkins, but the run across from Louisau. Sees it go out for another Northampton throw. Corner again. There's Northampton. Maybe best pleased that they still haven't got their season off to a win yet. But I suppose when you are going into this, it's more about just getting minutes in the tank. And I'm sure, although people say they love to win friendlies, and of course West Ham and their under-21s will want to do just that, just like every other team that plays in pre-season tournaments will. But ultimately, the most important thing is to ensure your players are all still fit and back up to, of course, full match fitness. Results are nice, they're a positive, and they can make you go into the season with a winning mentality. But it's not the main goal. But could this be a goal? It can't be. The legs deny. Daniel Cummings with the most glorious opportunity so far of this pre-season friendly. Sawunmi forced out. The ball comes off him last, and it will be a goal kick. But coming from Ryan Battram, look how smooth this was from Sawunmi. That's just what West Ham have needed. But it was open for them to exploit, and Cummings just needed to send it either side. He favoured to take it towards that left. The goalkeeper, Ross Fitzsimmons' feet denied him. Then comes Josh Tomlinson for number 15, Jordan Thornley. New signing. He's been bought in on loan from Oxford. Comes off and is replaced Josh Tomlinson, another centre-back, 19 years of age, who's on loan at Northampton. Made first team debut after coming on for the senior side at aged 15 years and 336 days. So Northampton, are his parent club. He was on loan away at Needham Market last season. So Northampton's youngest ever player. As Ramirez looks to be in some pain over there. He's back up on his feet, ready for the final 4 minutes here.
I think you might be able to on your end. I think you can drop the frames and stuff like that.
Sent forward quickly. West Ham not showing any patience late on. They'll feel like they really should be 1-0 up after that opportunity. That's sent to absolutely nobody from the substitute, Josh Tomlinson. That just needs a bit more of a warm-up. You won't get much of one, considering how late on it is. So can either side get a late winner? We'll hope it will be West Ham. But it's still a respectable scoreline so far. Northampton too, we're playing some heavy hitters for their side. And of course coming on is the number 19, Matty Ireland. A lot of these players playing for Northampton today are first team players. Sam Hoskins, who started the first half, 32 years of age. Of course, Tyrese Forner, 25 years of age, in the centre of midfield. And Mark Jacobs, who's come on in this half. So to have kept it at 0-0 against a solid League One side, albeit they had a bit of a relegation scare last season, is certainly no mean feat. And something that will give them confidence, regardless of it still being 0-0. Battram's not giving up. That's an important touch as it opens it up for Cummings, but he fires it over with the side of his right foot. Unsure which direction he wanted that in, but you could tell he was aiming for probably one of the corners. And he fires it straight over the goal. So two good opportunities, a clear-cut one for Daniel Cummings, finding himself in a good position, which is the positive to take home there. It looks to be that they'll now focus going on to Friday against Boreham Wood, unless they could get a late winner here. Sawunmi back to Briggs. Patter looking to just loft it over, but Battram got a header away. He had Clayton just behind him. He still managed to keep it for his side. And that switch was best forgotten about. So Matty Ireland opens up room for him around Josh Briggs. Into the final 10 seconds here at the Sixfield Stadium. Thank you for joining us here on the West Ham YouTube channel. There's West Ham just happy to remain organised now. No time for pressing. see this 0-0 draw out, take the clean sheet, head back to Chadwell Heath with some pride against this League One side, and then on to the team just north of London in Boreham Wood. That ball from Matty Ireland almost finds the number 10. Louis Howe is pushed over. You can tell by their reactions it's a free kick. Elliot List showing some frustrations on Louis Howe there. He was just ducking his head down. Time still to play here in Northampton, and room down the left, but he's offside. Elliot List, and you can see he just lofts it over towards Owesu for him to take the free kick, but he'll roll it over towards one of his colleagues. They let it bounce, but Fitzsimmons allowed to the danger from Cummings, just like he was for that save earlier on. Tricky feet from Ireland as he receives the 1-2. Another ball in behind. Owesu was committed to that, and he had to be, as he had List, who's been causing some problems, getting into some dangerous positions late on in the game. Here's Oyabade. Looking for the clipped ball over the top, but once again, it's not just Owesu who's been on it in terms of coming off his line. It's also been the fellow substitute goalkeeper and Ross Fitzsimmons. And that is the end of the action. West Ham with a hard-fought 0-0 draw. A defensive, solid display on show, specifically from Michael Forbes. Of course, some great goalkeeping from Finn Herrick means that West Ham finally get a draw in their pre-season against a very strong side in League One. We'll now go on to Boreham Wood on Friday night, kick-off at 7:30. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in a few days' time. It ends here at the Sixfield Stadium. Northampton 0, your Hammers 0.
Hey, Jared! You not getting changed?
What? Is that Vivi? Well, that's a lot of oranges.
Early again, mate. Colton is back.
Yeah, mate, cool. I'll give it to you first thing in the morning, yeah?
Yeah, well, where are you?
How much longer?
Where are you off to?
Can you imagine? I forgot my football boots on the train.
Hey, you ain't got boots
This isn't just football. This is home. This is West Ham, united by more.
In the bag. I got nunchucks on, innit?
Come on, Colton.
I got that walking, bro.
Take 433. one we've ever won.
No, that's, you've done it. That's very right. You two are great. You two are like the strikers. You two are thinking of something.
But no, hey. Guys, I'm here.
Here's show these people what I'm made of. They gotta remember who I am.
Let's do one more.
And then have a little embrace. Yes, cross.
Now we see some fire in a big man.
You don't get in chase!
So I'm here with Max Kilman today.
Little skater boy.
Nice.
And that's a wrap. Hey, 3, 2, 1, I do that one.
Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1. And that's a wrap.
There's nothing better than when calculated decisions pay off. It's all about backing yourself. He did.
With only 30 minutes till kick-off.
So did he.